This is what the question says. Highlight 5 limitations of quantitative theory of money. Highlight, we put it down. Highlight, question 4D, highlight 5 limitations. 5 limitations of quantitative theory of money. Highlight 5 limitations of quantitative theory of money. So we need to understand what basically quantitative theory of money talks about. So when you look at quantitative theory of money, it basically talks about MV, which is money supply times velocity, is equals to price levels times the number of transactions times the number of transactions. A number of limitations that are basically envisioned in this theory are that the theory does not address the theory. One of the limitation, we say number 1 limitation, the theory does not address the issue, what you call the issue of interest rate. Does not address the issue of interest rate. And we basically know that interest rate is one of major policy on monetary policy. Monetary policy that we know we use to address a number of issues, in economics. We can also have number 2 limitation on this theory. The theory does not address the future. We basically say the theory does not address the future. This theory does not basically touches on the future. The theory does not address the future. Then we can also talk about is too much concerned. Number 3, we can say too much. We say too much concerned with money supply. Too much concerned with money supply, that is circulation of money supply, and ignores the demand for money. So when you look at the formula, one of the things that we have on that theory, it's concerned money supply times velocity is equals to the general price levels times the number of transactions. So this theory basically focuses on issues to do with the supply of money, but ignores what you call the demand of money. Then the theory does not explain changes in the value of money. We see that the theory does not explain the changes, what you call the changes in the value of money, does not explain the changes in the value of money, and note how money does not explain. The theory does not basically that attempts to explain. This is basically attempts to explain. Say attempts to explain changes in the value of money, but not how. We say not how money attempts to explain changes in the value of money, but not how money is in the first place determined. How money in the first place determined. Not in the first place determined. We can look at the last when we have the last on that. This theory This theory argues that there's no general price level. Argue that 5 argues that there is no general. There is no general. Argues that there's no general price level. Price levels. But rather, we say but rather, series, there's no general price level, but rather series of price levels, series of change in price levels, series of change in price levels, series in change in the price levels, in the consumer price index, in the consumer price index. So those are basically some of the limitations that are basically attached to the theory, that is the theory of quantitative money, or theory of quantitative theory of money. One we've talked about does not address the issues to deal with interest rate. We also know that it does not address the future. We also understand that is too much concerned on money supply and ignores the aspect of demand of money. We know that the theory attempts to basically explain the changes in the value of money, but does not address how money in the first place is determined. That is how we approach that very question. That marks the end of question 4.